Well, howdy, partner. I'm still here at Disney World, and welcome to Toy Story Land.
We've got giant toy blocks, a giant Buzz Lightyear, and a whole lot of nostalgia here. But here's the real question. Have you ever stopped and thought about how toys, yes, toys, teach us something about our faith? I mean, think about it. In the world of Toy Story, Woody and Buzz don't sit around questioning their purpose. They know exactly who they are. There's no identity crisis there. They don't stress over whether they're worth something. They simply are worth something. And guess what? The same goes for us. But here's the catch. Sometimes as adults, we overcomplicate it. We start worrying about what we don't have or who we're not, instead of just trusting God with who He's made us to be. Matthew 18:3 says, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." Yeah, I'm talking about becoming like a kid, like Andy's toys in Toy Story. You ever notice how kids just trust without question? They don't sit there to analyze the situation, wondering if the toy is properly calibrated for the maximum fun. They just play, trusting that whatever happens is going to be awesome. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Jesus calls us to trust Him the way that their kids trust their toys, without fear, without hesitation, and without trying to fix everything ourselves. Kids know their toys are there for them. And you know what? God is there for us too, every step of the way. We can spend so much time trying to figure out life and God's plan for us. We make it so complicated, we make it stressful, and we forget to just trust. God's asking you to trust like a child. You might be sitting there thinking, yeah, but life is harder than being a toy, right? And I get it, life is tough. But let's be real, adults. When we overcomplicate things, we get worn out. We start feeling like we're not enough. That's the enemy. He wants you to doubt your worth and your identity. But God says, you are my child, and I am enough for you. And do you know what else kids do really well? They don't worry about what others think of them. They don't check their Instagram feed to see if they've got enough likes. They don't ask for approval. They just are. And guess what? That's the freedom that God wants for us. Romans 8:16-17 says, "The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children." Now, if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ. Think about that for a second. You are a child of the King, an heir of the greatest kingdom there is. So why stress about measuring up or trying to earn your place? God says you are already enough. So here's your challenge. Embrace childlike faith. Trust that God's got this. Even when life feels chaotic, know that you're loved just as you are. Not for what you do, but for who you are. Stop striving and start resting in the freedom that comes from simply being His child. And just like the toys in Toy Story, remember, God has a plan for you. You are His masterpiece, His creation, and you don't have to figure it all out. You just have to trust Him and know that He's got you in His hands. Now go ahead, play with that faith like a kid in Toy Story Land. Trust God like He's the best toy in your toy box, because, my friend, He is. Sorry, my line's moving. It's time for me to go play like a kid. Here we go.